I never thought I'd be making a Bullet King build, but every weapon has its day. And hey, you're gonna wanna stick around for the full build details on this one because it's got a plot twist. Let's get into this one.
Wait, did we just become best friends? So nice to meet you. I think you're cool.
Piece of shit wristwatch.
Never really been a big fan of the Bullet King, but with all the changes in the game, well, I might just be a little bit of a fan now. This weapon wasn't originally on my agenda for this week, but I just had to squeeze it in because I had a ton of fun with it during our live stream over the weekend. So the Bullet King did get a buff in Title Update 22. So this screenshot shows the before and after picture. And as you can see, it got quite a pickup on the base level damage there. However, they did bring down the RPMs, which does kind of suck. Now, the reason why this thing shines more than ever is because we have more options for our builds that really drive in a ton more damage. And I mean like ridiculous amounts of damage. Like crazy damage. I can't believe we have this much damage, kind of damage. And that makes the Bullet King a more viable option in the game because before, you know, there were two main issues. First, I'm a big fan of never having to reload. I love that. But the Bullet King just never really did it for me because it sort of had, and still does, bad handling. And then on top of that, the damage was just really poor. And so today we're gonna fix that. You're gonna be slain with this. Solo legendary, team legendary, whatever. So I decided to pair it up with negotiators. Now, this isn't the strongest option for the Bullet King. You could run it with strikers and get way better DPS out of this, but it's the synergy I was looking for, and it seems to be good enough to solo legendary. But bullet hell is what we're after. So for every 100 bullets that hit an enemy, you're gonna replenish some ammo to you and your allies' reserves. And we're gonna give this thing the ability to beam at long range. That means you're gonna be quite accurate and never run out of ammo. Now, I am running Gunner mostly for the armor on kill, but it does also replenish some ammo for you and your team. And then if you're standing still, you're gonna get some handling. Speaking of handling, the chest piece is where it's at. So I'm running one piece of Palisades for 10% armor on kill. So we now have 20% total armor on kill. And then we have crit damage and crit chance as you would expect. And then braced. Yes, I'm running braced on the chest. Don't panic. You're not gonna have to worry about damage. We're gonna have a lot of that. I'll get to that. But while in cover, weapon handling is increased by 45%. And that's part of what makes the Bullet King feel better than ever. Because we have so much damage coming into the build, we're able to run braced on our chest piece and give this weapon the handling that it needs. Now, that's not gonna be helpful for our reload because we don't have any, but for weapon swapping, that's great, and we will be doing that. And also for stability and accuracy, that's also great. There is a perfect brace chest piece that's actually suitable for LMGs, except I need the armor and kill, so I elected to take this one, but do what you need to do. Negotiator's Dilemma also got a buff. It's crit based, so we got crit chance and crit damage. Basically, critical hits on enemies will mark them. You can mark up to 3 enemies, and then you're gonna apply damage to all 3 of those enemies at the same time just by shooting one of them. And whenever a marked enemy dies, you're gonna get another 2% critical hit damage up to 20 stacks, which is 40% crit damage. And basically weapon damage and crits here. Notice I'm not running a ton of armor. You can, but I decided not to because I don't have any bonus armor or regen coming in. I just stuck with some basic armor here, but you have plenty of room to throw on more armor if you want to. Okay, the backpack is the treat here. This is what actually got a buff. The hostile negotiations damage, the damage that you spread, goes from 60 to 112%. So it used to be 100%. So now you got a 12% increase there. So 100% damage on your primary target, and the other targets that are marked are going to take 112%. Very nice. The gloves, I got crit damage, and the knees, more crit damage. Crit damage everywhere. Now for skills, because I do feel a little bit glassy, I am running the Reviver Hive for legendary. All right, the holster is where it's at. You know how I said they lowered the RPM from 850 to 750? So this is gonna reverse that and more. So with this, you're gonna get a 900 RPM out of this weapon, plus 20% weapon damage. And the best part is that you're running brace, so your weapon swap speed is super fast. You can swap over to your shotgun and then back, refresh that as many times as you want. So you don't wanna land on number 2 though, the magazine size increase, because this thing never reloads. Yeah, that'd be a waste. Oh, that reminds me, I forgot to show the mods here. So we get endless capacity there, we get 20% stability there, and then 15% crit chance. I don't recall if this was always there or not. It might have been part of the buff. So the stats, we're at 58% crit chance, 146.5 crit damage. With your Negotiator stacks, that'll push to 186.5. And then for the weapon handling, it's only going to show 7.5%. That's because brace doesn't show up in your stats. Okay, let's talk about modifiers because this is where things get fucking nuts. And we're running it different than we have in the past. So as far as the primary global modifier, we're taking advantage really of all three, but the key ones are going to be short range and long range. You heard me right. 1.2x amplified damage or 1.5x amplified damage for long range. For the active, you want to run all out. So this is going to allow us to lock in a range. And when you do, it doesn't matter where the target is in relation to you, it's going to be considered that range. Once it's locked in, this will start stacking 5% more weapon damage up to 300% more weapon damage. And this lasts for 50 seconds and every kill will extend the clock. Now how it works is you want to activate it and then you have 10 seconds to shoot an enemy in the range that you want to lock in. Now the ranges that we're going to be playing at are both short range and long range. And we're going to build to the buffs there because they're both crazy strong on this weapon. So it doesn't matter which one you choose or which one you lock in, you're going to be winning. And so the one you just don't really want to lock in is the mid range. So it should relatively be easy to manage. And if you're playing legendary, you'll probably find yourself locking in the long range more. And for everything else, it'll be teeter totter, but a lot more on the short range. Okay, so by the teeth is clutch. If you haven't used this yet, you're crazy. Got to use it. So this is 2.5x damage to all targets in long range. So this is what we're locking in long range for. So 250% more damage on top of the 1.5x or 150% more amplified damage. Together, that's crazy. So you always want to be shooting at the body, which is no problem with this LMG. If you land headshots, it'll reset the stacks, but it's not a problem. It's only a couple of shots to refresh it, and you're going to be getting freaking crazy numbers. The next one's called liability. So this is for the short range. So when we're locked in there, or even when we're not locked in, if somebody steps up to us in the short range, you're going to be getting this, right? Same thing with the long range modifier by the teeth. Even if you're not locked in, you're going to get that damage at long range. So when an enemy steps up, you're going to get 30% more damage to armored enemies within short range. That's good damage. You also get an incoming damage increase of 15%. So there's that. Not a big deal because we got that armor on kill, but beware because with LMGs, you do hang out of cover a lot because you're laying it down. You never have to reload, especially with this one. So that's going to invite more damage. You'll notice that. I literally saved the best for last. This is the magic sauce and what is freaking crazy and extremely unique for this weapon. Follow me here. This is going to be active for the short range, and why, if you can lock in short range, you want to. You absolutely want to. You're going to get an increase of rate of fire and a decrease in reload time. 30% rate of fire increase. That is going to push your RPMs to 1,125 on the Bullet King. That's nuts. That would put you over the Striker RPM, but you could also run this with Striker. And then your reload time is cut, but you don't care, right? Because we're not doing that. But this is the catch. It's going to cut your magazine size by 50%. But guess what? We never have to reload. There is no real magazine on this weapon. You have an unlimited magazine, so it doesn't matter. You're getting only buffs with the Bullet King. It's absolutely insane. You are shredding so fast at short range. It's crazy. The catch to this, in legendary, the enemies play really deep. So you'd have to be like really aggressive to get that short range. It happens, just not as much as I'd like, which is why I have the long range one. The long range one on this build is to compensate for that in legendary. So just lock in long range or short range. For heroic content, the short range is always there or is there more often. Anyways, this is a very unusual setup and unique to the Bullet King. And I hope we find some more golden nuggets just like this. That's what I have for you today. Have fun. Catch you on the next one. Thank you for hanging out with me today. My name is Tuxedo Bandido. That's Tito Bandido.
What's crack-a-lackin'?
And this was another episode of The Division 2. If you found this video helpful, subscribe, like, and turn on notifications to ensure you don't miss out on the fantastic experiences waiting for you in The Division 2. And if you like builds like this, check out the recommended build video I have here for you. If you have anything you want to see covered, be sure to let me know in the comments below. And thank you to all the channel members and donors who make everything possible. Tux Nation wouldn't be without you.
When you buy a game from Ubisoft, enter the creator code Tuxedo Bandido to support the channel. Easy peasy. Now maybe this cheapskate can afford to sign me up for that dating app I've had my eyes on.
Follow me.
I get it.